Stacey Edmonds joins us. I'm going to make sure I get the title spot on here as the lead partner of the Future of Learning at Deloitte, anchored out of Australia. She spent a lot of her early career doing some rather noble pursuits in social work and the likes, made her way into IT, as I understand, established a rather prolific career there, is a writer and author in all things engagement learning, gamification, some really fanciful areas that you'll have to ask her about. And she's going to share with you all today. She's joined by a colleague on the Deloitte side, but from the research end of it, and that is Julie Hiipakka, who's here as the Vice President of Learning Research for Burson Deloitte Consulting. And Julie's career and area certain spans from learning to sales to recruiting, engagement, all kinds of areas. And if I'm going to make sure I get this tagline right, so much of the research and the focus today around studying how organizations can plan, manage, and run learning while in the flow of work. So on that note, please join me in welcoming Julie, Stacey to the stage.
So I'm just here as Stacey's hype woman to frame up a little bit of what Stacey is going to talk about in terms of learning experiences and how it relates to the future of work. Also wanted to say we are very thankful we went after lunch. We did not want to be up here with hangry people. So it's actually also really good, and I thought that the content this morning, I don't know about you guys, but I thought it was fantastic, and there was so much conversation about the idea of what makes us human. We've been talking about the future of work and all the automation and everything else, and yet in the end, we seem to all keep coming back to these same things of compassion and empathy and creativity. So that's actually what I want to ground you in as we take a look at what Stacey's about to share. So I originally was going to talk at length about these dimensions and factors and things, but I don't need to because you all know them. We heard a lot about transformation, but keep in mind that transformation and disruption are really two sort of different lenses of the same thing. Unanticipated change. And unanticipated change is really at the heart of what work now is. We have some very, very smart people that we work with at another Deloitte research entity. There are many of them called the Center for the Edge, and they have been thinking a lot about how to redefine work. So you're looking at their take, which we in Burson are about to start releasing some research on and what it means for talent. But if you think about this circle, and particularly if we consider that automation has taken away a lot of those repetitive tasks, then really what we're left as people to do is react to disruption. Unanticipated change creates problems and opportunities. And only people and the things that people do can really be used in the new world of work to help us respond to these problems, implement solutions, and reiterate and learn. The other thing that's so interesting right now about work is everything is so context specific. If you think about context, like environment or the industry or even who you're working around or the technology that you're working with, that's all changing all the time. So we've all spent so much time thinking about reskilling, and yet reskilling may not actually get us very far. Who here surfs? Okay, a few of you do. I don't. I really admire people who do. We have a colleague, Eric Dingler, he's the CLO of our tax business. He's a surfer, and his argument is that work these days is like surfing. And you used to surf, apparently you'd wait for the really great wave and then you'd ride it all the way in. This is all totally alien to me because I'm terrified of sharks, but let's just go with it. Then there's a way to surf where you just get on a wave and ride it for 6 to 10 seconds, and then you get on the next wave, and then you get on the next wave. Doesn't that sound like work now? What helps us jump waves? We think it's skills. We've talked a lot about skills today. It's that tactical knowledge. It's that thing that you do. It's those skills that are applied in context. And yes, you can teach and train those, and Stacey's going to show us some ways to do that. But the other side of the coin, we at Deloitte are starting to think about as enduring human capabilities. And we've talked about them all day today. Compassion, empathy, creativity, problem solving, social intelligence. I mean, there's a bunch of different lists. Josh, I think you walked in right around lunchtime. Hi. Josh wrote about this recently as power skills. There's so many different ways to think about it. Either way, they're timeless. And if you want to talk to me later about this, because obviously I'm into it, we can go on and on and on about how we are born with these things and somehow work and life sort of beats it out of us. So how these attributes help us do a better job of adapting to all these different contexts. They act like multipliers. And I realize this is a little bit of an eye chart. So if you just think about creativity, empathy, social intelligence, problem solving, agility, as things that would help you do a whole bunch of different things, what if we spend more time trying to nurture capabilities instead of trying to continually reskill? I'm not saying don't reskill at all, but what if we shift our emphasis a little bit so that we're nurturing the things that help us get better at reskilling, that help us get better at surfing from wave to wave? You guys with me? Yeah, cool. So Stacey is going to show us some ways that we can nurture capabilities and help people reskill through experiences that we create. I give you.
Awesome. Yay! Now, this is where I have to give the secret message. Oh, yes, that was it. Thank you. Hello, everybody. My name's Stacey. I'm going to do my best to do my Possie accent, which is Pommy plus Aussie. I have pledged allegiance. I got a Lamington, a shrub, and a VB. It was awesome. Now, yesterday, whilst I was lounging by the pool in the beautiful sunshine, I thought I'd whip up a learning pathway in EdCast for today. And I've called it Take Me to the Summit. Because we all want to go there. I know, it's okay, stop. And what I thought I would do really is attempt in the next 10 minutes, and I'm going to have to put my glasses on because this happened a couple of years ago. Oh, can't see you, can totally read this. Marvellous. So I'm going to attempt in the next 10 minutes to kind of experiment with the past 30 years and combine it with what is now actually possible. Now, I say experience. Now, when I say learning experience, what I'm saying is in a world where, I don't know you, but if you manage to binge watch Game of Thrones for 12 hours, spend 6 hours trying to perfect the perfect TikTok video. Who's on TikTok? Own up. I used to be so beautiful. Now look at me. You can look that one up. It's all right. Do that later. When you enthusiastically talk about your podcast to your colleagues, when you die playing World of Warcraft, and that's a thing. It was unfortunate, but people are that keen on playing games. So what if we harness that power for good and not evil? And the other thing is buy stuff. We buy a load of stuff. Marketing teaches us and makes us buy loads of stuff. Again, my friends in marketing, what if we use that power for good and not for evil? So if an ad can change our behaviour in 30 seconds and we have a whole world out of there, we kind of need to swiftly unlearn what we think learning is. What did that say? I'm like really worried because there's some stuff going down in Australia.
How close are the fires?
What did it say?
How close are the fires? From your mom.
Oh, is that from my... Aww. She was in my meditation earlier. You see? I feel all warm and huggy. I'll write back and go, yeah, she's going to die when she finds out that happened. So we need to swiftly unlearn what we think of as actually is learning. So I'm just going to ask you a quick question. Are you ready? Now, are you ready?
Yes. Yes.
You? Born ready. I know. You told me earlier. So the thing is, who got the email a couple of weeks ago that said you need to complete your compliance learning and something inside of you slowly died? Okay, see? A couple of years ago, I was working with an international telecommunications company, and I said to the young man, how was your learning experience? And he said, put it like this. I take off my tie, my laces, and my belt just beforehand so I don't hang myself halfway through. I said, so it's good then, yeah? Maybe we'll change that. Who here learnt something on the interweb? I hear it's going off. Whether it's YouTube, Fender Play, Masterclass, who here learnt something in the past 2 or 3 weeks? What do you learn? Give us a yell. Spanish, nice.
How to peel a grapefruit.
Right, how, in case you didn't hear, this is your man if you need to learn how to peel a grapefruit. Anyone else?
Planting tulips.
Pardon?
Planting tulips.
Planting tulips. Nice, you see. Now here's the thing, here's what I bet you didn't do. I bet you didn't go on YouTube and go, in the format where it says film, video, infographic, image, you went, I'd like to do a 45-minute click and read, where I've inserted a dartboard, read loads of text, click next, and then don't understand the questions at the end for the assessment. So it's like, as a learning professional, I'm a lifelong learning professional. I'm a teacher by trade, been learning forever. I was e-learning manager at the Commonwealth Bank. We have the opportunity now with production. We don't need a massive camera to do broadcast quality film. How many of you here listen to podcasts? They're all learning. You are voluntary learning with your laces, your belt, and your ties fully intact. So if that's the case, if we are voluntary learning in all these formats that are out in the world, what it means is we can harness those formats for good. Now, I'm not saying that facilitation is dead. Video did not kill the radio star. You see, those of you old enough to know that, I shouldn't have laughed. It's still alive. Know thy mode and what it's good for. If we get people together, let's create something and talk about stuff. Wrap learning around that experience. So this is what we whipped up. Take me to the summit. What learning looks like nowadays. So when we were talking earlier, and Julia gave us the beautiful skills plus capability equals supercharged human. This is what learning looks like nowadays. So you know when you're on Google, and this is where our people are going to learn. Learning looks like beautifully animated shorts by Brené Brown. Learning looks like cooking with Gordon Ramsay. Now, when I made this Gordon Ramsay one, I made it advanced because you get feedback from Gordon, and I wouldn't be doing that unless you're advanced in cooking. Vinnie Jones. Now, this is an ad. This is when marketing does learning better than learning. So Vinnie Jones, I don't know if you've seen this. This is the guy. He's a footballer. He was in Lock, Stock and 4 Smoking Barrels. And basically, he teaches CPR. Now, since this ad, over 40 lives have been saved from an ad, which is a learning experience. Anybody here seen In a Nutshell? Over 10 million followers voluntarily doing learning on a learning channel for motion graphics. So if you'd like to learn about optimistic nihilism, that's the place for you. Walmart, virtual reality. So we're looking at here, this is around building capability to cope, to play it before you live it, to build confidence and empathy, and then use your real skills of how do I actually go about these and be able to, again, practice those. A social robot. Social robots are coming soon. You could outsource yourself and train. So it's kind of you, training you at your next job. And again, that's great feedback after having a difficult conversation from a capability perspective and also from a skills perspective. TikTok. I know. Yeah, you all want to go now. I've got some moves. Now, what's happening in TikTok? There are 10 million educational videos with 48 billion views. So what's happening now? There's a massive push in India to democratize learning through using TikTok, where people voluntarily go to learn. So this is the age. We are in a massive opportunity to curate and create content that people binge watch. They talk about, they create hours learning. The dying part is not good from a HR perspective. So there's a really key point here. when creating learning, we probably don't want to make pervasive games that people want to spend a whole week playing. That would be awkward. However, what we do need to do, and this is the combination of creating the mode for what it's good for, to say, how do you feel? What do you think? What are you going to do when you complete this learning? What does that look like? And create that mode in its perfect form within the boundaries of the HR, legal, branding, diversity and inclusion, cultural boundaries with which your organisation lives. Which really then takes us to the point of our audience. And I loved all the work we did today about being human again. It's like human is back in vogue. Human is so back right now. So this whole thing, and I'd like to thank James and Emmanuel for really bringing that to life, because the fact is we didn't just sort of step in the door to work. You know, it's kind of like, oh, we cross the threshold and we become some other person who suddenly leaves our lives behind. We're here too. And connecting with that human is what's going to help us actually connecting purposely with you and with you and with you to say, I'm on this journey with you, and what that looks like. And so what I wanted to share with you is a short story, a very short story. Now, some of you may have seen this, but some of you may not. In Australia, about 20 years ago, when I first arrived fresh, there was this ad. I'm hoping. It's a classic. I won't play you all of it.
Push me, and then just touch me, till I can get my satisfaction.
I'll just stop it there for you. Okay, what's that ad for? Give it a guess.
Oh no.
Anyone? Bueller?
Ice cream.
Ice cream, very close. Beer! Tooheys new. So I'm sat there at Christmas. And I've been invited to an orphan's lunch. I've only been in Australia a few months. I thought I won't mention religion, won't mention politics. Have you seen that ad? It's disgusting. The one with the tongue and it gets the beer. And the guy next to me goes, yeah, I made that. That'll be the NAPLAN results for school. I said, yeah, I'm obviously not the target audience. He said, no, you're not. I did turn that off, can I just say? I said, God. And so I said, I'm obviously not the target audience, right? Oh, for goodness sake! Oh, God. I mean, actually,
Stacey, you're practicing agility and creativity and
oh, that is just
being human.
I'm parenting right now.
Let's see the response.
You know, I should just take a selfie and send it back to him.
Oh, yeah.
We'll do that in a minute, all right? Okay. So I said, I'm obviously not the target audience. And he goes, no, you're not. So why is it, do we think we sheep dip? That we create one piece of learning that's going to be okay for all? Who are our audience? What do they care about? Respect the audience, respect who the people are, and to go on the journey with them, which is why I'm loving after our session, we're doing human-centered design. So how do we apply human-centered design to learning and really learn and walk in the steps of the people that we're creating learning for? I'm going to have to stop laughing. Okay, Transport for New South Wales. Now, for goodness sake. Transport for New South Wales is this is the beginning of an awareness and learning experience called Looking Out for Each Other. And we needed to create a care factor for people to really care about safety. And this was the beginning of a 2-year-long campaign. We had facilitated sessions, face-to-face, films, motion graphics. We had leader-led change. We had the whole gamut over 2 years because this is seriously about saving lives. And I wanted to share this with you. Here we go.
Safety is a part of everything we do at Transport.
Everything we do.
Sa lahat ng ating ginagawa, everything we do.
Looking out for each other means looking out for my colleagues,
my customers,
our community,
And our mob.
It means everyone gets home safely.
It means we make decisions
To put people first.
It means we're open about our mistakes.
And that we can learn from them to do better next time.
It means always doing the safe thing because it's the right thing.
It means maintaining my safe approach distances.
It means planning for a safe outcome.
It means I watch out for my mates.
And I look out for him too.
It means I know my job and I know my limits.
It means my family doesn't have to worry about my safety.
It means we look after my family and yours.
It means if I see a hazard, I take action.
It means using the right gear for the right job.
It means having challenging conversations.
It means I feel safe to speak up.
Anytime, anywhere.
Kapan saja, di mana saja.
Biaya words, biaya makan.
Anytime, anywhere.
It means genuinely engaging with everyone.
It means I get the balance right when managing risks
and making decisions.
It means I get to and from work.
It means I get home from school.
It means that I get home safely.
Safely.
Safely. It means protecting the most important asset we have, our people.
It means I'm looking out for you.
हम आपको सुरक्षित रखेंगे.
我也看护着你。
Pass off and under.
Yeah, pass a product.
It means I'm looking out for you.
For you.
For you.
For you.
For you.
If you'd like to talk to me afterwards about that, what that whole experience was, and please do come and have a chat. We had an amazing time creating that film and really involved the whole of Transport for New South Wales and all of our audiences. Now, we've been talking a lot about cyber today, and one of the biggest challenges is the human firewall. How do we help people not click on the dodgy text and the dodgy email? So what we did was said, what if we had a creative which was like Tinder meets cyber? You see, you go. Now, working within the boundaries with HR, the whole swiping thing wasn't going to work. But we do have fishy or not, dodgy or not, and this is in multiple languages. And I'm going to rate my confidence because we know your confidence has a direct impact on your, people say, oh, we told them they're not doing it. 1, don't tell them. 2, do you feel confident to do this task? I feel somewhat confident. So we're gonna do this. Now the key here. Oh, let's go. Do you think that's dodgy or not?
Yeah.
Totally dodgy. I put fishy. Yes. It tells me a bit like Angry Birds. You know, Angry Birds teaches you on the way about what to do with the birds. Same theory. Because think about it, if those games are doing this really well, how can we harness the power for? Either you. Good. Thank you. Dodgy or not? Fishy or not? Not fishy. Ooh. Greys. Oh, so where's the fishy? So basically what we said was, what would happen if instead of, we got some with music, we've got multiple languages and all that sort of stuff. What happens if instead of trying to slow people down, we just help people speed it up? We're not going to get people to slow down, are we? You're not going to slow down on your mobile. You're not going to slow. What happens if we go, just practice before you play it? So what this did was, in a world where there was a 24% click-through rate in a 4-minute game, reduced the click-through rate to 4%. And people wanted to play it again. And my friends were around playing it at the weekend. My work here is done. So really, that's what we really wanted to share with you today. And as a quick sum up of what that experience is and the impact of this, is that to make this big shift, what our learning and development organisations do and the skill sets we need have radically changed. We need digital producers. We need storytellers. We need game players. We need game designers. We need people who can bring stories to life in really short, sharp periods of time and use the power that's out there in pervasive games and podcasts and all of that that we know works and bring it inside. And I know that you, like me, are actually just waiting for the Matrix. How to have a difficult conversation. One moment, please. What's the impact of AI and mixed reality in today's society? One moment, please, but I will know any minute now. Until then, let's make really cool learning where we don't have to convince people to go and do the learning. They want to. And when they do a Google search, they go to dodgy first. So thank you so much. And thank you for listening to my ex-husband and my mother.